Hello, this is Uncle Garrett again. How are you today? Hope you're doing great. Today, I want to talk about apologies. You know, most people don't do apologies properly. Some people don't apologize at all, and that tells others around them that they don't love or care for them or respect them. A lot of people do what I call rubbish non-apologies. These are apologies, but they're not good ones, and you know, sometimes they're even like halfway, not even explicit apologies, and that can hurt people even more. It degrades friendships, it degrades love, it takes it away, strips it down. On the other hand, properly apologizing is so good for both you and the others. It's good for you because it will enhance your self-respect. If you do the right thing, if you do what you know is the right thing, even deep down, it's going to make you a better person, and you're going to feel better about yourself also. As I always say, self-improvement, the will to always be a better person day by day, week by week, year by year, that is the most important characteristic that you can do, that you can hold for yourself. And learning to apologize is one thing so many of us can improve on. I know I have, simply by making this video, creating this blog, working with my wife to develop the content, has helped me to learn better how to apologize. And so I want to bring you on this journey, and I can't wait. So let's begin. But first, I'd like to expand a little bit on the benefits of apologizing. You know, when you give an apology to the other, you're actually giving painkiller. You know, the other person is in some amount of pain, and that shows physically, as I'll explain later. When you give an apology, you also, of course, as I mentioned before, you grow the trust and the friendship and love of the others around you. Now, in a study done in 2002 by Hope College and Virginia Commonwealth University, they found that in a study done with people who were owed an apology for some reason, they were able to reduce their blood pressure, their heart rate, the amount of sweat they have, and facial tension, all by simply imagining receiving an apology. On top of that, you know, one of the quirks of human nature is that the people around us can see our faults better than we can. It's strange, but it's true. So almost always, and I'm not saying always, but almost always, when an apology is requested, it's because the others around you see something in you that is wrong. And I encourage you to try and trust that, to dig deep into it, to entertain the idea that maybe they have something. And again, this is one of the great ways that will lead you to self-improvement. When you take responsibility for your own actions, the benefits can go very deep. You can grow your humility, courage, empathy, and compassion. Now, you may not have to apologize every time an apology is requested. I have a simple rule for interpersonal conflict. Whoever got angry should apologize. That could be one or both or neither parties. It's usually both. Now, why is anger the decider? Well, anger is emotional violence. People actually feel angry words. It goes through your head and through your heart. It raises heart rate and blood pressure, as I mentioned before. Anger is the predatory killer of relationships. On the flip side, apologies are the healer and restorer of relationships. Of course, there are many other situations that do call for apologies. Anger is just one of them, but the others could be more obvious, and I'll leave that to you. Now, I have to admit to all of you, there was a time when I was terrible at apologies. That's because I thought I was perfect. I generally, well, maybe not perfect, but pretty close to it. I thought of myself as almost always right. I thought I was so good that, you know, whatever I did, there was a great reason for it, no matter what. And so people thought of me as a pompous jackass sometimes. And it became hard to think of excuses, and the excuses became ridiculous sometimes. And I was alienating to others, and people got kind of sick of me after, quite frankly. Then at some point, I kind of liberated myself from this foolish pride, the idea that I had to just prove to everybody that I was just almost perfect. It was such a relief to lift this burden from myself and actually become humble, and then people actually started to respect me. I started to get the respect that I was hoping for when I was trying to convince everybody I was perfect. We may be able to fool ourselves, but our flaws, our character flaws, are very obvious to everyone else. Trying to cover up your own flaws is like trying to wear the Emperor's New Invisible Clothes. So now I want to get into the 8 tips on how to properly apologize. First and foremost, you have to have the correct goal. The correct goal should be to benefit the other, not yourself. If your goal is to benefit yourself, in other words, make yourself sound not as bad, or you had reasons, you weren't, your mistake was just ever so slight and shouldn't be a big deal. That's a goal to benefit yourself, and to the other, it just sounds like excuses, and it's damaging. Your real goal is to help to heal the other, restore their confidence. You want to make them feel like you're truly sorry and that you'll never do it again, and you'll do much better from now on. Give them the confidence that they can trust in you again. So, number 2, look inside yourself and figure out why you did what you did. Why did you get angry? Why did you forget something? Try to get as deep into yourself to find the deepest reason possible. And then you can work on that. You can actually root out those small character flaws. You can use remorse and regret. Be truly sorry that you did so, and that will weaken those toxic programs, those deeply embedded character flaws that you have. But don't get angry at yourself. Just use sorrow and regret to work on yourself, to really chip away at the flaws that caused that in the first place. So then, number 3, listen to the other with compassion. This is a very important part of an apology. Now, that's because listening with compassion is a psychological painkiller for the other. People feel so much better when they're listened to. And not only will you give that painkiller, but you might find other things that you did wrong that you should apologize for. So many times a conflict can have multiple sources and multiple things to apologize for. It's very rarely actually just one thing. So listen to the others and make sure they know they've been heard. Apologies are best made in person, specifically and especially for this part of the apology, listening with compassion. Sometimes a person can't even pinpoint why exactly they felt hurt. And maybe they know a little bit, but maybe there's more. And if you encourage them with sincere questions, they can actually explain better, more clearly, and then the misunderstandings are cleared up even better, so that you can you're more likely to avoid anything like this in the future. Number 4, validate their hurt feelings. Make the other know that they had a right to have hurt feelings and that they were triggered by you. Make sure they know that you know that. That might not seem like the most obvious or important step, but it is actually the most important step. It's the step that actually puts the substance into the apology. I'll give you an example of children who've been abused. Sometimes the parents don't even want to acknowledge that they've abused their children. And, they try to bring the families back together, and the parents, they give a rubbish non-apology, and that hurts the children even more. And that's why this step is so important. They have to know that that they have a right to their hurt feelings. Number 5, give them compassion and sympathy if they want it. Some people might find it demeaning and they don't want sympathy, but many people do. You can say something like, "Oh, I'm sorry I hurt you," or "I wish I hadn't hurt you," or "How can I make you feel better?" Number 6, admit your wrongdoing. Take full responsibility. Don't mix in any reasons. To you are their reasons, to them they're excuses. And excuses are never valued. Not even things like, well, you do realize it's just a small mistake, right? That just hurts people when you say that, and it just devalues your apology. So I'll repeat it again. Excuses are never valued. Take full responsibility. Number 7, discuss how to improve in the future. This is an important step, and it gives the other confidence that you really mean what you saying when you do apologize. The best way of apologizing is to never do it again, right? So maybe go into some detail there. Maybe set a new rule or a reminder. Whatever you do, don't promise something you can't do, but find something that is acceptable and comfortable to both parties. And number 8, last but not least, they will probably have forgiven you by now. That's great. Well, give thanks for their forgiveness and be thankful for the whole situation. Maybe you both learned something. Isn't that great? Give ourselves some credit and celebrate that. And if you've achieved all these goals, executed on these 8 tips very well, you will have been someone who's proven to be a great person even when times are hard. Even when there's anger and upset, you're proven to be a strong person who can stand up and apologize and fix themselves and gives emotional healing. You'll get trust and credit and respect more than ever before. Isn't that great? Hello there. This is Garrett's evil twin. You can call me Mr. Always Right. So, forget all this rubbish about rubbish non-apologies. That's rubbish. The greatest apologies are rubbish. Don't waste your time with good apologies. You are too strong for that. You're a tough guy, right? Yeah, you don't need to apologize to no one, right? Yeah. So let me give you a little few tips on how to really apologize. Okay, now first of all, you've got to squirt octopus ink. Just confuse everything, right? So you just talk about all kinds of things that just aren't related to the apology at all. Forget the original topic. Just go on and on about your excuses, your reasons. Make sure to dominate the conversation so they do not have a chance to butt in and get clarity. But if they do manage to butt in, just say, "I already apologized. What's wrong with you?" Make sure to act just a little miffed so they feel guilty about, you didn't forgive me. Shame on you. And then even better way to squirt octopus ink is to go on and on about something really bad that happened to you, like you're just a total victim, right? And it was so bad, and you were so hurt by it, and if you go on and on, the key is to get a lot of sympathy, right? Sympathy. So they start feeling sorry for you, and they kind of forget about the original, you hurt my feelings. Yeah, forget them. Yeah. Yeah. So another thing is to just say, sorry, but you just drive me crazy sometimes, I just can't help it. It's not really your fault. It's actually their fault because, they drive you crazy, right? Not your fault at all. And oh yeah, there are so many ways to finish the sentence, sorry, but, sorry, but, yeah, I was kind of feeling not great, sorry, but, well, I was a little drunk. Sorry, but, yeah, we like the buts, don't we? Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is another good one. You can, carry on and never bring it up again and just kind of hope that maybe they forgot or, just don't mention it. And maybe they'll just not bring it up. And maybe act a little miffed if they look like they're going to bring it up, so they don't, right? And maybe do something a little nice for them, give them a smile, maybe a little gift, but don't mention anything you did wrong, okay? Yeah, just don't mention the topic, yeah, and maybe they'll forget it. That's pretty good, isn't it? Oh, yeah. And here's the ultimate. I love this one. You're gonna love it. Just say things like, "Love means you never have to say you're sorry." Isn't that great? Oh yeah, I love it. Okay, you guys got it. Good. All right, bye. Sorry, I had to take a little break there. I hope everything was okay. Yeah. Okay, so you might have some questions about apologies. First of all, well, do you have a concern that maybe if you apologize, it might weaken your position in the future, and maybe the person will use it against you? Does apologizing kind of weaken your position in the relationship? Well, no, don't worry about that. Not unless you're dealing with a manipulative narcissist. If you're dealing with a narcissist, well, don't worry about that, because whatever you do will be weaponized against you whenever it suits them, and it doesn't matter if you apologize or not. Maybe it'll strengthen you, because remember, apologizing has its benefits for yourself. In disagreements and in conflicts, both parties have something to apologize for, almost always in a conflict, right? So is there a concern about, well, whoever apologizes first has the weaker end? I choose not to look at it that way. I think it's whoever is of the strongest character apologizes first. Almost always in good relationships, one side apologizing almost always leads to the other apologizing as well. And if they don't, or maybe you can remind them, hey, you have something to apologize for also. But if they don't, or they give a rubbish non-apology, well, maybe you can reconsider your relationship with them, if you can. And if you can't, I think you can heal yourself. You can work on yourself and give yourself some compassion and healing. And then the best you can do is wish and wait for them to maybe be a stronger person someday. So why should you forgive without having received an apology? Well, it's for yourself, actually. The pain you carry is a punishment on yourself and not the other. So you don't have to treat the other like nothing ever happened. You have to treat yourself like nothing ever happened. You have to get rid of the pain and anger that you carry. You are responsible for your own emotional health, so you need to take care of it, even if others can't. So how do you do this? You do this by your conscious mind talking to your subconscious mind. You can give your subconscious lots of compassion and sympathy, and you can tell yourself that you are strong enough to heal and overcome any pain all by yourself without anyone's help. And you are. And one thing that might help with this is meditation also. So you can search our channel and find videos on the benefits and how to meditate. But the goal is to relieve yourself of this pain, to become free of it. you should repeat this process of talking to yourself, giving yourself compassion, giving yourself messages of strength, and you can repeat that over days or weeks, however long it takes to be able to face this person again and not feel any anger or pain. And that's how you can forgive, knowing that the other is not strong enough to give a proper apology today, but you can wish for their enlightenment someday. The goal of forgiveness is to give yourself a state of peace and calm. So you don't have to give the other the full benefits of a good friendship or a good relationship. You should just heal yourself and release the anger and pain and put yourself in a state of peace and calm. So that's it on why and how to apologize. I hope you found this very informative and entertaining, and I hope you can apply these principles, make some great apologies in the future, even restore some old friendships or family that have been estranged. Maybe an apology is all they need to restore that and enjoy a great relationship once again. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please hit that like button. We'd really appreciate it. My wife and I worked so hard on this once again. This is a labor of love, and we really appreciate it if you could hit that like button, help the algorithms, help more people find this. Subscribe to the channel for more great videos like this. Share it with your friends. And I hope to see you next time. So until then, this is Uncle Garrett. Goodbye.